It's another day and it's another live. A bunch of different stuff to talk about today and do and discuss and make happen as well as answering, as you guys know, your questions, man. But anyways, a couple of things I want to chat about today with you guys as we line up another live. Hola, ¿cómo está tudo bem? Tooth Fairy. Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody's doing well. Hoping you're enjoying your Monday evening. I decided to do this a little bit later to let more people come in and do the business, bro, and just chat. That's the whole point of this stuff, right? Just to bring value back to you guys, answer questions, throw ideas out there, and just try and help the best that I can for you guys to make better decisions, right? So, first thing I want to talk about. I talked about this in the live yesterday or the other day, whenever it was, but I gotta make sure you guys understand this point, and it's really important because, the reality is, with pay to play, there is absolutely zero incentive for anybody to help you. And by the way, going live on YouTube and Instagram at the same time. But again, I'm going to say it one more time. There's absolutely zero incentive for anybody to help you with pay to play, right? So who has to do the networking? You have to network. You have to make decisions to help put your player, yourself, your player, whatever it is, if it's you, the player, on the right path, because nobody has to help you. And I talked about this the other day. My parents were not athletes. They were not sports people. They were computer people, to be honest. And they didn't know what they were doing. And I'm like, dude, there's a miss in this market. People don't know how to get through this. So you gotta understand. And I said this before. Every time that I go live, every time that I'm producing content, every time I'm really doing anything, and I'm helping you guys, I don't make $1 from this. I do it because I care. I want people to find success. That's key for me. You guys finding success and having your kid, or if you're the player, get out of here, bro. Like I said this yesterday, the system is designed for your child to fail. Literally, it's designed for your child to fail. It's not designed for you to have success. I hope you guys understand that. So the only reason I'm doing this is because I care for your child, your kids, and for you as parents to really be more educated in the process and what to do, why to do, how to do. So I put my entire playbook, I think except for 2 pieces that I got messed up on. It's now on Instagram. All you have to do is go to my profile and you see highlights and you'll see part 1 and part 2 of the playbook. And it's all right there, bro. You got the whole thing available to you. Free. The exact thought process of what I would do if my kid was going through the system. The entire thing, top to bottom, it's all right there. And a lot of people are asking, sends me DMs oh, Kyle, what should you do in this situation? Have you read the playbook yet? No. Okay, go read the playbook. If you have a further question after that, then I'll be happy to engage you and then have that conversation. If you have not read the playbook, then I shouldn't be answering your question because I put it all there for you. And then the second thing is I put it as audio. You have the audio as well, the whole thing. You can listen to it if you'd rather listen to it. Cool, no problem. I had text and audio. It's all there for you guys to take advantage of and learn from. And I do need to put this point out there. I don't have every single answer. I don't. I just have my perception of my answers. So you may come to me and be like, hey, I think X, Y, and Z. And I'm going to be like, cool. I hope that works for you. But this is what I would do. And you can use that or you can't use that. That's up to you. It's your decision. But just understand that because I've had some people say, well, Kyle, I want to do this. Dude, that's your thing. If you want to do that, do it. This is what I've found success in. This is how I've done it. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, cool, no problem. We move on and that's it. Just for reference. All right, so let me try and see some of the questions that have come in on Instagram. 7-year-old has access to indoor hardwood floor gym all year round, and we practice with a futsal ball. We still play on turf and grass, but the majority is practice indoors. Is that an issue? No, bro. If I could do futsal full-time, I would. I say that all the time. If I could do futsal full-time, I would absolutely go and do futsal full-time. Not even a question. Probably until 13 years old, and then I would switch it. And good point, because this brings up my whole thing about basketball. My opinion, you guys may not agree with this. I'm not a basketball guy, but this is just what I see looking from the outside in and knowing nothing about it. Right? Why do we develop just unbelievable basketball players? Well, 1, they get to practice all the time. 2, they're playing on the street all the time without mom and dad. There's a court literally down the street from me, dude, and it's packed with people all the time, almost every hour of the day. It's packed. As long as there's sunlight, they're on it. Free, by the way. They don't pay anything. So we have that basketball culture. And probably the biggest thing, I mean, they're all big, right? I mean, the culture thing is huge. But, like, this is the point that I'm trying to make. Like, basketball, you don't go above 5 versus 5. Like, you don't do it. You don't go above 5 versus 5. So if you're not going above 5 versus 5, okay, then more touches on the ball, attacking and defending, transitions, set pieces, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's all there for you. Does that make sense to you? Do you understand that concept? Because if you translate that back to the soccer field, this is why, like, Brazil and Argentina, like, I had a guy text me earlier. He's like, man, Argentina, we play futsal until 12. These kids develop unbelievable skill. Or a futsal-style game, a small-sided game like futsal, 5-a-side. And then they're going up and they're playing against the next phase. Then they're going to football. And I'm like, dude, imagine if we had all our kids do futsal. It doesn't even have to be futsal, but just do 5-a-side and 3-on-3s. And so 13 years old. And then at that moment, we transition into, let's say, 11v11 or whatever it is. I mean, bro, like, come on, man. Like, the level of skill that these kids would have would be tremendously different. And then the final point, I didn't say yet, but Noah just brought it up in terms of basketball and pickup, is that you have various ages. So if you want to play, more than likely you're playing against grown men, bro. Like, straight up, you're going to play against grown men. And this is the thing, like, I keep emphasizing to people, because people keep saying, oh, I need to play ECNL or MLS next. Bro, you can play ECNL MLS next if you really want to, bro. Like, if you want to pay for that, cool. But, like, if you don't know how to work the system, you're dead. And then the second coin to that problem is, okay, like, I talked to the Orlando City Academy director, okay? We're buds, we're friends, whatever. And I asked him, okay, what do you have the U17s do? They're like, okay, obviously they play in the MLS Next League. They play mostly against the MLS Academies, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is he said for U17 is they do scrimmage against top U19 and UPSL. So what does that tell you? I hope you understand, like, where I'm going with this, right? Is that they're looking for big boys. They're looking for guys that play above their level. So if you're a kid, and this is why I keep saying, if you're 15 years old and you're a parent, you need to help the child make the decision. If they really want to go to the next level, you have to at least incorporate adult in some way. I recommend you go full-time adult. A lot of you guys will say, no, they're going to get hurt, they're going to whatever. But there's a reason why the best players in the world are at 15, 16, 17 years old, and they're signing professional contracts because they're able to play with adults. And they're not, like, again, they're kids. They don't have the body yet of an adult, but they know how to play, though. So you guys just need to, like, take that and understand it, because it's huge, bro. Like, you guys, I think, miss that concept. Like, you get so wrapped up in these badges and, like, the things that go on your shoulder. And listen, I did it too, bro. Like, I did the same thing. When the DA came out and they made this huge announcement, the development academy is happening, U.S. Soccer's announcing this, and I was like, oh, shit, wow. Me and my parents were like, oh, we need to get into this. Need to go DA. Need to go DA. And I think, personally, I think DA did a better job than MLS Next, because they actually had U.S. national team scouts, what they called scouts, whether they were or not, I don't know. I mean, again, I was 17 or 18 years old, so I didn't know the difference. They had scouts at probably every 3 games we had a scout, or like a director of some sort that would come and watch from U.S. Soccer. Again, whether that's actually the role, I don't know. But it was there. The potential at least seemed to be there. But yeah, it's a challenge, bro, because it's like, what do? You can do the same thing as everybody else. And, like, here's the funny thing, right? Insanity. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So everybody goes into ECNL and everybody goes into MLS Next. And 90%, not even 90, I would probably say 95% don't get out. Like, they don't get out and go to the next level. Like, I know plenty of guys that have played MLS Next and ECNL, and they're not graduating high school and going to college and being a student athlete. That's because they don't have the network. They don't know how to do it. They might be a decent player, and there's tons that aren't, by the way. So it's crazy, man. It's kind of the same logical argument you make about playing up college. If you think you can play, can you do it against a man who is 6'3" basketball shot? Yeah. Well, listen, here's the thing, right? So somebody asked me, like, okay, let's say my son wants to go to an MLS academy, and he's 15 or 17 years old. This is my opinion again. You may not agree with it. That's cool. Right? If you have a goal of wanting to play for an MLS Academy, I'm not talking about the pay-to-play. I'm talking about the typical free one that, like, Orlando City Academy has, or whatever DC United Academy, all of them that should have, they don't, they should. Anyways, if you cannot play with adults and make an impact, bro, you're not playing in an MLS Academy. Like, you're just not going to. You're not good enough. That's okay, right? It's okay. Not everybody can play in MLS Academy. And here's what people don't understand about it, because I've gotten a lot of questions like, hey, how do we do this? Why? And I'm like, parents, you don't get it. You don't just get to go play for an MLS Academy. Like, you can't just call up and get your kid in. They invite you in. They have trials. They invite you into the training sessions. Like, we had a kid, for example, go to Orlando City Academy. He had a month trial. A month. They're like, hey, we're evaluating him. Normally he played for a forward for us. And they're like, okay, for Orlando City Academy, there's plenty of other Orlando cities, by the way. At least in Orlando, it's kind of funny. They're like, hey, for us, he's probably going to be a right back. And I'm like, I mean, I don't care. If you want him to be a right back, you can be a right back. But if you just have that conversation with the parents, I'm good. So just for reference, man, like, they have to think you're good enough. They have to have scouted you. Can you contact them to be scouted? Yeah, you can. Send an email, but it should be the player doing that. And Instagram is a powerful tool. In fact, one of the kids they looked to scout from us got scouted from my Instagram. So, bro, it can be a very powerful tool if you're getting yourself in the right platform and the right network to do it. So you just got to be mindful of that stuff, man, because, like, everybody's going to tell you, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. If you look at the numbers, the real numbers, how many kids are actually leaving those programs and moving on? And the ones that are either very, very good, and this is an and part really more than an or, is that how do I explain this to you? They know how to network and they know how to make those connections. More than likely, you guys don't, because you don't. I know you don't. And that's not a bad thing, because I was in your shoes. I didn't know. I did not know how to navigate college or navigate the college recruiting process. Like, and this will segment into my next point. Right? I made a tweet yesterday, and I'm like, I'm going to read this to you. It's kind of funny. Life is a game. I look at all this stuff, and it's all a game. The whole thing is a game. Life is a game. All right? Whether you like it or not, it's a game. First off. Secondly, youth soccer is a game. Development is a game. College recruiting is a game. Networking is a game. Building physique, like building your body physically, is a game. Developing the mind to handle, like, the pressure and stuff, to thrive in those environments and overcoming challenges, is a game. And then nutrition, this is so huge for me, is a game. Half the kids say, oh, I want to be a pro, and parents say, we want to help them be a pro, and then I hear what they're eating, I'm going, you don't want to be a pro, you're not all bought in. But that's besides the point. And there's more to this anyways, but getting to the next level is a game. So that'd be like trying to go pro, that is a game. Straight up, it's a game. And then the question I have for you is, you need to answer this, parent and player. How many games are you willing to play? If you're not willing to play all of them, pack up your bags, quit playing the game, go to college, graduate with a nice degree, good business degree, whatever you want to do, get a 9-to-5 job. If you're not willing to play the game, bro, then don't play and just step out, right? Because if you're not, like, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of those I just called out are games. If you're not going to play all 9, just pack the bags, bro. Football is too hard, or futsal is too hard. Whatever sport you want to talk about is too hard. It's time to slide, bro. Like, it's like, slide, move on, retire. Like, you can't, bro. Like, you can't cheat the system. People think you can, and there is no cheating. Like, there's no shortcuts. I mean, you just either walk the walk or don't, bro, and just move on with your day. So, like, adding to that, right? So, game within a game. Okay, I put a tweet out about this as well, and I don't think people, like, fully get this, because they're always like, oh, well, my son, is he ready? Is he going to get hurt? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. So, I'm not a dad. This is just what I would do if I was a dad. And if my son or daughter was coming to me saying, hey, Dad, Kyle, I want to be a pro. Are you sure you want to be a pro? Are you sure? Dude, it is a grind to do that, right? First. Second, if my son is coming to me and he wants to be a pro, first, again, like I've said this before, that is outside the box. It's outside the box. Okay? So, like, what am I going with that? Or where am I trying to go with this? Since it's outside of the box, that means the youth development structure has to be outside the box. Like, you can't go any other way. Like, you have to go outside the box. So if you do the same bullshit as everybody else and you follow the same path, your son is or daughter is going to end up in the same exact situation over and over again, and you're done. Like, they're screwed. So, point to that is, you need to be constantly challenge your kid and putting him into environments, or her into environments that makes them uncomfortable. And I said this the other day, they're either going to sink or they're going to swim. So what's the point of that? Sinking means they can't handle it. Like, they go, oh, it's too hard for me. The pressure's too much. I don't know what to do. It's not fair. And they start blaming everybody else. The blame game. I love the blame game. And, they might do that the first couple of times, but then they're going to say, you know what? It's okay. I can figure it out. Okay, I can figure it out. If they're not willing to figure it out, then the honest truth is, then they're not ready to go be a pro. Like, they don't have the mindset to be able to handle that. And a lot of that, 90% of it, starts at home. So people ask me, like, oh, you really think training starts at home? Yeah. Development, training, education starts at home. Like, you can't cheat the system. You can't only rely on team practice and expect to be great. You can't develop a strong mind at home. No, you can't develop a strong mind only at practice. You have to be putting your child into situations that they go, okay, I can handle this. I can deal with that. So, and if you don't do that, then they're never going to have the skill set to be able to handle those situations. Like, people don't get that part. And it's like, if you don't get it, then what are you going to do? Like, you're done. So it's just being mindful of those things, because, like, again, if it was my son and he's like, hey, I want to be a pro, I'm like, okay, bro, you understand I'm going to put you in a path and I'm not there to protect you. Like, I would tell him that, look, I'm not there to protect you, right? You said you want to be a pro. You know how hard it is to be a pro, kid? You sure you want to do this? Yeah, Dad, I want to do this. Okay. You know what? You're going to go the next week, next year. You're going to train 4 days out of the week with 3 years older. You ready for that? You sure? You said you want to be a pro. You ready for that? Yeah, Dad, I'll handle it. Boom. Okay, go. Sinks, take them out. Next. And again, you might not make that decision right away, bro. Like, they might sink a little bit. You got to help them up, right? I'm just giving reference. But, like, I don't think, most people don't know this, and I didn't know this before. But, like, now, being at my age and going through what I've gone through and everything, dude, I know how hard it is. And to go on and be a professional player, even if you're not at the elite level, dude, it's hard, bro. It's so hard. Like, it's terrible. Like, there's so much sacrificing, suffering, things you have to go through, and, like, mom and dad can't solve that for you. The player has to solve it. I see too many parents, like, helicopter parenting their kids, and I'm like, this kid's done. I don't care how much you think, if they can't survive on their own, done. Like, here's a scenario, and then I'll even make it basic for you. Let's imagine you have to drop your kid off for a week. You give them food, water, and drink, whatever, money for an entire week, and they have to survive on their own in, like, a hotel. Like, let's say it's like a residency camp. They have a room by themselves. Do you think your kid could survive? Like, honestly, do you think your kid could survive that? Like, I want to know, because if they can't survive that, like, then, dude, they're not ready to make the commitment to be a pro, because they might be calling you saying, I need to go home. Like, that's just an example. Like, that's the mental pressure, so to speak, that they have to be able to handle. Can they be away from mom and dad and handle that? So, like, I'll give you a perfect example. There's a guy I've trained. Hold on. And he is 2007. He was playing with the FC Basel Academy. At 12 years old, during COVID, by the way, during prime time COVID, okay, the kid made a decision to leave his mom and dad, move to a completely different country, like 16 hours away, and do a residency program in England. Like, let me rephrase that for you. So the kid was 12 at the time, during prime time COVID. Like, this is prime time COVID, bro. Kid makes a decision, hey, mom and dad, I want to make this And mom and dad said, you know what? That's cool. You want to do that? This is your dream. We'll support you. Even during COVID, kid moved halfway around the world to go try and fulfill his dream of playing for this program on a full scholarship, except, well, I guess like a 90% scholarship. Like 12 years old, willing to make that risk. And if I'm a betting man, that would be one kid that can make it. The mentality you need to have, like, this is so undervalued in this country because we have luxuries, we have privilege. Like, all the kids, not all the kids, but you get the point. 90% of the kids that are playing youth sports, again, that's a high number, I'm exaggerating my point, is they would go, they're going to show up to practice in a Tesla Model X. They're going to show up to whatever with freaking Bugatti. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but like that's the point that I'm trying to make, man. Like, you got parents. It's your responsibility to help develop the mental side, and that includes putting your kid through situations that greatly challenge them and that are uncomfortable and that they're either going to sink or swim on. And if you don't want to take that decision and that risk, then the chance of your kid making it goes from 0.01%, so 0.01% to 0.000000000001%. It's like 15 zeros. Like, the chance of your kid is basically zero. It's already zero, but the chance of now just drops significantly to more than zero. I will tell you this though, like this is what I'm finding interesting right now. I could be wrong, but what I'm noticing is there seems to be a, how do I explain this to you? Lack of mental grit now in our kids. Like there's more instant gratification, huge problem. Parents are becoming more and more overprotective. So the parents that throw their kids to the wolves more than the other ones will have a better chance. Because like when I was a kid, we still had overprotection, but I don't think it was as bad as it is today. And which means it technically makes it easier. Still not easy, by the way, but maybe now it's 0.02%. You got a slightly better chance just by developing this part. And if you need help with that, man, like with your kid, I have a program called the Pro Mindset. You can download that, and it's for your kid to run through. Obviously, you can help them, but it's for your child to run through to develop the mental side of the game. Free, by the way. Again, all my stuff's free. So, man. Like, honestly, I saw somebody write a comment. Let me see what it said. Hold on. Where was it? I would. So I think Julian was saying that he'd be able to handle that. Yeah, and like, Julian, you might. But most kids and most parents aren't willing to take that risk. Like, honestly, like, you're just not. But what questions can I answer for you guys? But I'm here. I got more stuff to go through, but I'd like to answer some of your guys' questions as well in conversation. So when I was 12, I played with 20 plus adults. They got angry when they couldn't stop me. I played number 9, and 2 years later, someone slight tackled me, fractured my ankle. I was never the same. Yeah, listen, I get it, RTO. It's part of the risk, part of the game. But look what you said. You said I was able to dominate them at 12. Now, I mean, there's probably more to this story, right? I mean, there was probably things that you did or didn't understand. And, you know, for example, perfect example. I'm an adult, obviously, at this point, but I was playing in a Hispanic league, and like some of those dudes were coming out, you could tell just ready to hurt, like to purposely injure somebody. Like, I stopped playing. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Like, there's too much for me to lose at this moment to play on a Sunday league, 7v7, get hurt, and then I have to, you know, I have a broken leg for 6 months to a year. It's just not worth the headache, bro, doing that. But you got to understand those contexts, right? Like, you can tell when somebody's clearly coming to hurt you versus playing for real. Like, there's a difference. Now, again, at 12, you might not understand that. I don't know the context of what happened to you, but just for reference, right? But yeah, so anybody that's super successful in life, like you look at all the guys that have built businesses or been successful, Ronaldo, Messi, whatever player you want to talk about, bro. They all talk about all the stuff they had to sacrifice and suffer through as a kid to make it. Like, there's a quote by Messi saying, it took me 17 years and X number of days to be an overnight success. And like, people don't realize that he had to get growth hormone treatment. Do you think that was easy? I mean, I'm sure, like, and there's no video of this, right? But could you imagine like being able to actually watch this, like a documentary of Messi when he was a kid, and they're talking about how, you know, he was, you know, they're like, oh, he might not ever make it because he doesn't have the size, and they're like, well, if he doesn't get this treatment, he's screwed. Like, you know how hard that is? Like, everybody just looks at the outside and sees the success. They don't see all like the work and the process and stuff that you have to go through. And I say this all the time, man. Like, you have to enjoy the process. You have to love what you're doing. And if you don't, man, then this game's not for you. Like, it's okay. But, like, I talk to a lot of people and they tell me their kids are really good, and I'm like, how honest do you want me to be? Like, your kid is not as good as you think you are, one, or think they are, two. Like, you're not challenging them enough to, like, they're not being put through the ringer enough to be successful. Like, they haven't earned it. And I talk about this a lot. You know, parents throw their kids into competitive and they can't understand why they don't win sometimes. And I'm like, have you earned the right to win? Have you earned the right to win? Like, seriously, have you? And you haven't, because you haven't trained enough. Like, you know, again, you look at a normal job, right? So, like, you work for Disney as an example. If you work for Disney as the example, do you think they're going to let you touch a customer until you've been basically trained? No, they're not. So you're not going to go meet live bullets, for lack of a better term, until you've been trained. So I talked to a guy that runs a Ford dealership. He's like the general manager. And he was like, and I was asking him, hey, what's the process of hiring? He's like, dude, it's like a month of work. If, you know, and we're talking about adults, by the way, not kids. He's like, they are not allowed to have a conversation with a customer until they go through X number of things. Hours of training. And they're doing this from, by the way, like a 9 to 5 job. So you can do the math. Let's say it takes a month. I mean, we can do the math. 9 to 5, that's 8 hours a day. You have 5 days a week, 40 hours, right? That's 40 hours right there. You did it for a month, 40 times 4.3. That's 130 hours, if I'm doing my math correctly. Somebody can probably correct me if I'm wrong. But that's what I'm thinking is, it's 130 hours, give or take, that you have to put in of training before you're actually ready to play. Damn, that's a good number. Like, I just made that up. Not made that up, but like, I'm doing the math. So 40 a week times 4.3 on average, because it's the average breakdown of weeks. Sorry, I'm off. 172. 172 hours. I just did the math. 172 hours. Yeah, that makes sense, because 40 times 4 is 160. Sorry, my math was terrible. Anyways, 172 hours they'd have to complete before they even touch a customer. So let's do the math for soccer. That means a player should do 172 hours before they even touch the competitive field of play. And I'm going to write this down because that's a good number. 172 hours of training. I don't know, bro. Like, and it's crazy because like people throw their kids into stuff and they don't understand like what the deal is. And for me, it's incredibly shocking and incredibly disappointing, bro. Like, because it's like everybody wants their kid to be good, or like if you're the kid, you want to be good, but you don't want to put in the work and the effort to get there. I just told you, to be in a Ford dealership, it takes roughly 172 hours, 9 to 5, 5 days a week, times 4.3 weeks, 172 hours to be successful, to just be able to work and talk to customers. Crazy. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. You're listening to the podcast on Spotify. I appreciate that, bro. I need to get back into doing that more. I stopped a while ago, but started putting more content back out there. And again, it's education, bro. Like, it really is. It's just education. You guys need to make better decisions. And like, I was in your shoes, bro. Like, I get it. So, right? I started coaching my U15s when they were 13s. They struggle, but each year they got better. Now at U15, they won their league and became state champs. Progress and development is key. I mean, it's definitely key, bro. I mean, it's like, and I say player development is like the stock market, because this is something that drives me through a wall. So I'm drinking 2 separate drinks. Like, of course, because parents are uneducated, they don't realize that it's okay for players to have ups and downs. Like, they're going to go like this, up and down. Now, here's the thing. Player development is like the stock market, right? You're going to have ups and you're going to have little downs and dips and troughs and whatever. I forget the old terminology. But I think you get the point. Like, that's what youth development looks like. And then the parents, the second they see their kid struggling, 98% take the kid out. Why? They want to protect their kid. Their kid can't struggle. Your kid's not going to make it, bro, if he can't struggle. Like, I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. If your kid can't struggle and deal with the pressure of that, then, bro, like, what do you think he's going to be able to achieve? And then the other side of that is, like, parents, I think you guys do, I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you the truth. I think you guys do a bad job in terms of, like, letting your kid dream. Like, I had a parent tell me, like, he was in my program. Oh, I want my kid to go to college. And I'm like, bro, your kid has the potential to be a pro. Like, he's building his body. He's a 07. Building his body, physique, good technically. And I'm like, he could? I'm like, I obviously can't promise you, but, like, he can always go to school, bro. Always school, always be there. Always be there. And parents, first thing, I want my kid to go to college. I want my kid to go to college. College. Oh, God, college. It ain't all cracked up as what it's not all that cracked up, bro. College, way better pass, in my opinion, these days. But anyways, I mean, you can be a big fish in a little pond. It just depends on what you're trying to achieve, to be honest. What's better to teach, skills and technique first or athleticism? Diaz, how old is your kid? 1, 2? When you say athleticism, what do you mean specifically? Because that's an open-ended question again. I don't know how to answer that for you unless you want to jump on the live and then we can talk about it. That might, be doable and I can maybe understand better what you're trying to say because a lot will depend on their age. But I do think, athleticism and skills like go hand in hand. So you should be able to develop technically both, but we would call it, you're not so much trying to develop athleticism. I mean, it is athleticism, but you're trying to develop coordination. And that's really important to do that with technique and skill building. So, yeah, I mean, it's you need both, but you don't need to build necessarily an athlete first. If that makes sense. Do actual MLS academies develop their players, or are they not in the teaching development business? So, Julian, that is a very, very good question, right? I can't answer for everybody. I can only answer what I know. And there's a couple of pieces that go into this. Okay, so on paper, MLS academies are the best thing since sliced bread in this country. On paper. Okay, there are some ups and downs with that, right? So, like, what people don't understand is with MLS academies, if you join a one for real, and they're usually free, not all of them, but they're usually free, that means the academy owns your rights. Okay? The academy owns your rights. So what does that mean? There's a whole, I don't want to say rubric or structure, structure is a better word. There's a whole structure that dictates, like, how much money of compensation they receive for the development of the player. Okay, does that make sense? I don't know if you're understanding what I'm saying. It's all under the compensation for formation model. And there's 4 categories, category 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each one has a different level of money and revenue they can generate based on the academy. I believe, if I remember correctly, USA cannot have an academy over level 2, category 2. Okay, so they receive up to a certain amount of money. Okay, got it. So they own your rights. So if you go there, they own your rights. So that means if another club, let's say your son plays for Orlando City Academy, and Real Madrid comes, well, the only way Real Madrid is getting this player is if they pay the fee, the compensation for formation fee. This depends on the category of the club and depends on how long they're in the program. Every year is additional money. So if your kid is in an MLS academy, it makes it much harder for them to go to Europe especially if they're not a standout, because the European clubs won't want to pay for the compensation. Hopefully that makes sense. And the compensation for formation happens between the ages of 12 to 23 years old. So if your son is in a program, and that's why, like, for example, Orlando City starts at 12. They have an MLS academy, 12 years old, because they own the rights now of those kids. So, just drew a blank on your specific question. Hold on, let me look at it again. Yeah, okay, developing teaching. Okay, so here's the thing with MLS academies, right? To answer your question, they're a program that's in business to develop kids, so to speak, and make money. Okay, so they're gonna pick a roster. Let's use U15. They're gonna pick a roster of 26 guys, U15. They're gonna have a very good idea of probably 2 to 6 guys they think really has the potential, and that 6 is a high number, by the way, who really has the potential, technically, physically, tactically, mentally, bought in to be a professional. So that means everybody else is feeder. What do I mean by feeder? Feeder means that they're there to help. They're there to be on the team to support those 2 to 6 kids. That's what that means. That means those other, let's say 26. So that means the other 20 plus players will never be professional. The academy knows that. But they're using those players to help give the other ones a chance. So a great example. I've talked about this before. My buddy is the technical director. He's like a dad to me, of one of the biggest clubs in France, called Olympique Lyonnais. Okay, me and him talk all the time. And on average, their academy, which has just about 30 players, by the way, on the U18, U19 roster, the average is 1 player graduates from that team to go to the first team. 1 player on average. He said a good year is 2 players. A great year is anything above 2. Like an exceptional year is if they can graduate more than 2 players. So a good year is 1, a great year is 2, and an exceptional year is anything more than 2. So again, they have an idea of who they believe will be a pro. Obviously that could change, right? I mean, something could happen, injury or mental concentration or confidence or whatever you want to use. Physically don't develop. Like there's things that go into that. That's why, I said up to 6, give or take. So on the other side of the coin is there are some, probably, because I know one for sure, I had a buddy tell me, that there is at least one, I'm sure there's more, by the way, MLS academies that just have an academy because they were basically forced to by MLS. So that way they could enforce this compensation for formation rule. And so the information I got from a guy who's a celebrity, by the way, me and him were talking, and I was like, look, why don't you connect with this program? I see that you have a good relationship with them. Couldn't you put your kids in their academy? No, they don't want them. And I'm like, I don't understand. If they're this good, why would they not want them? And he's like, well, you got to understand what MLS teams want, like the pro teams, what they want to do is they want to go sign South American talent for anything, $2 million to $5 million or less. Less is better, obviously, where they could bring a guy in, have him be here for 2 or 3 years, young player, so 17 to 20 years old, young player, have him in the system for a little bit, and then sell him to Europe for 20 plus million. So they want to go find young talent in South America, bring them in, sell them to Europe. Because, it's not a bad model, bro, if you really think about it. Like, if you think about, there's a guy in Ecuador, Kenny, same thing. 16 or 15 years old, actually, just signed for Chelsea, 20 million euros, or maybe it was pounds. Going to Chelsea now at 18 years old, so he's got 2 years. 15-year-old kid signs for Chelsea, maybe he's 16. Signs to Chelsea for $20 million. Yo, bro, like what? You got the kid Endrick, Kendry Pais. You got Endrick. He plays for, I believe it's Palmeiras in Brazil. He just signed for Real Madrid, another 20 million pound player. 20 million euros. 16 years old. So, like, again, they have a clear, precise plan. So it's just that, bro. And again, just what people. This man said, "Don't hate." I'm not trying to hate. I'm just providing my input. You may not agree with it. That's okay. It's not hate. It's just what I know. So, yeah, I mean, it's that simple. Like, that's what it looks like. Let them spend that oligarch's money. They have every right to spend whatever money they want to spend, but like, it don't matter to me. Somebody asked the question. I'm just explaining my perception of it. Again, people may or may not agree. That's okay. But yeah, I mean, it's a complicated matter, bro, because on paper, MLS academies should be the best. Does it mean they're the best? Not necessarily. Like, if you want to go to Europe, like for real, you want to go to Europe, playing for an MLS academy is probably not the best move because, again, they're going to own your rights. So that makes it harder for you to go there. And actually, I don't know if you guys know this. If you live in an area where there's an MLS academy relatively close to you, so again, I live in Orlando, they can put you on the block list. I don't know if you guys heard about this. Have you heard about this before? The block list? Anybody on YouTube or Instagram, you've heard of the block list? Because it's kind of crazy, bro. Like, you could not even play for Orlando City Academy, as the example, and you can be on the block list. That means that no other club, an MLS academy, can come and take that player. They're blocked. So we had a kid that was from Orlando City Academy. He left, came to our program, which was non-MLS Next. And a club, another MLS club up north, came and said, we want you to come for a trial. Started doing the paperwork, and they had my permission. I'm like, yeah, go. I think it'd be a great experience. Another state, another environment, good for the kid. They come back and say, nope, sorry, we can't take him. And I'm like, what? Why not? No, he's on the block list from Orlando City. What? I'm like, but he doesn't play for them. Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's on the block list. I'm like, you can do that? They can block kids that don't play for them? Yes. Yep. Now, I don't know how big the block list is. I think there's only up to a certain number of players. But the moral of the story is your kid doesn't even have to play for the academy. They can put you on the blocked list, and no other MLS academy can pick you up. It's crazy, bro. Crazy. But, like, this stuff does happen. Like, other MLS clubs can go recruit talent from other areas. They have regions that they can oversee and work with. But if a player is blocked from that specific region, so let's say, again, we have Orlando, we have Inter Miami, we have Atlanta right next to each other, relative. They, let's say Orlando City wants to take a kid from a club in Miami. And Inter Miami could have that kid on the block list. So, boom, blocked. That kid's not going to Orlando City. Even the crazy thing is, even if Inter Miami doesn't want that kid, like, they're not going to bring him into the academy, they can still block him. It's crazy. I was going to say, I think it's 10, but it might be 9. You might be right. I heard it was 10, but I didn't know for sure. And I'm like, bro, that is insane that they can do that. So that's why I said on paper, it's supposed to be the best thing. Obviously, it's a system, right? So, like, you have to know how to wheel and deal the system. So it's crazy. So, I mean, you just got to be very careful about what you get yourself into. And I tell people all the time, if you have a goal of wanting to get to Europe, then I don't recommend you go to an MLS academy. Like, you should not do that. I think it would be a mistake because, again, if you're there for even just a year, bro, you're on their list. They own your rights. And then that way, if a club wants to come and take you to Europe, like a good club, you may not get that chance because you're on the block list. It's hard, bro. It's a real business out there. Like, it's shady. Like, to what Julian said, shady. But you got to remember, like, MLS is looking at this. Again, they're paying for your kid in most of the academies. You're an investment. Whether or not they think you can actually be a pro or not is irrelevant. You are the investment. The player is the investment. So they want to protect their assets. I don't blame them, bro. It's business. Enzo Diaz said, what do you recommend focusing on What do you recommend focusing on, like, on a daily basis for a 9-year-old? Enzo, my dog, to the bane. Have you read my playbook yet or listened to it? Let's start with that. Very good, starting point. If you haven't, I highly recommend you go read or listen to the playbook. You can find it on my Twitter, or you can actually go to my Instagram right now. In my bio, go to highlights, and you'll see every single tweet there. And yeah, I would read that first, and that should answer your question. If you have a further question, let me know. I mean, I can go into more detail, but I mean, that playbook is thoroughly in depth, covers all 5 phases. I really think it's game changing, to be honest, because I've never seen anything like it. And it's just my perception of what I would do if my kid was going through the system, bro, like, to be honest. But to quickly summarize it for you, Enzo, what I would do is so much 1v1 that my kids' feet are falling off. Skill development, coordination, 1v1. That's it. Turn your kid into a beast. Would you recommend stuff like La Liga Select and things like that to go to Europe? I don't know what La Liga Select is, so you're going to have to explain to me in more detail there, bro. For a 15-year-old, is UPSL Division 1 still good to participate in? Yes. Yep. Yeah. If you can prove your bread and butter in UPSL Division 1, so there's 2 divisions of UPSL. There's UPSL Division 1, and then they have, what do you call it? Premier. Premier is the top division. That's where there's much more attention, but to start, yeah, I mean, you should be doing Division 1. If you can do Division 1 and dominate in UPSL, that means you can then go to Division 2 and be successful. So not a bad thought, bro. Okay, yeah, so if you can do it. Sanda Greens, I've introduced Rondo's 4v1, 4v2 to our boys 2013 team. Are these good for this age group? Sand, I don't know anything about your kids. I don't know their level. Personally, I think a lot depends on what you're trying to achieve. So a lot would depend on that. What are you trying to achieve? If you want to achieve, like, yeah, you're going to have to give me more information. But, like, I don't know the level of your kids. Are they all super skilled? Are they not super skilled? If they're very talented, then, yeah, Rondos are good. If they're not talented and they all don't have core skill, then no, it's not a good move. It just depends on their level. That block list scares me. The goal is always Europe, but being this will be the first year at OC Academy. Yeah, so, well, I mean, you got to understand, Arthur, the block list is for other MLS academies. It's not for Europe. So you're in an academy. More than likely, another MLS academy is not going to come for you. The block list is more of, they can stop you from going to another one. If that makes sense. So let's say your son leaves Orlando City Academy. You guys decide it's not for you or whatever, just as the example. You leave. And they go, well, this kid has the potential. We don't want somebody else picking him up. Then, yeah, they're going to block you. Like, they're just going to stop you. So, should not have an impact on Europe. It's only for that. The impact on Europe would be that if your son's at an MLS academy, is that they own your rights. So, they own a percentage of your son. So, again, using the example, let's say Real Madrid comes calling for your son. If they do, Real Madrid have to pay to get him. Whereas before, if you play for a non-MLS academy and you just play for example, my club, High Soccer, then they can come take you for free. I can't charge Real Madrid a compensation for formation fee. I don't get anything out of it. I can't. But Orlando City or whatever MLS academy, they absolutely can, and they will. They're protecting their investment. Is there a big benefit for 3, 3, and 5v5 for kids under 10, or okay to put focus on 7v7 with this team? Yusuf, brother, it depends on what you're trying to achieve. If you've read the playbook or listened to it, then you would know my answer. I am not a fan of 7v7. I can't stand it. I think it's full of shit, to be completely honest with you. And I think it does a very poor job of helping to develop kids, like, just straight up. Like, I think it's miserable. It's terrible. So that's my honest truth. Sanda Greens also as well, no problem. Happy to help. The playbook, I hope you get to read all the phases. I've heard that there's a formatting issue. That's why I transferred it over to Instagram as well, so you can read all the tweets on Instagram. So, like, I've heard people can't read phase 4 as the example. I don't know why that is, so I fixed it so you should be able to go read phase 4 on my Instagram account. You should be able to see all phases, or you can listen to it. It's produced where you can listen to them, so not a problem, mate. Kale Parker, what's up, G? What's going on, bro? How can I help? So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into that. So yeah, Arthur, I hope that helps with the MLS Academy. And then Rental said, at what age should plyometrics be introduced? So when you talk about plyometrics, are you talking about what? Yeah, I mean, what are you talking about with plyometrics? Like, can you expand on that? Because my plyometrics would be different than maybe what you're thinking. I don't know. What is the best route to get to Europe academies from the U.S.? It's hard to get noticed when you're not playing with an MLS academy. Kale, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I actually got to shave. I got to get rid of this. It's killing me. What is the best route to get to Europe? So, Azzer, do you want the truth? A lot of people won't like my answer, but I'm going to tell you the truth. If you want the truth, let me know, bro. I'll give you the truth. I'll tell you the truth. This is my opinion. You may not like it. That's okay. But I feel it's good to at least tell you the truth, and then other people will be able to listen to this at some point as well. The truth. It's better to tell the truth and hurt somebody's feelings than to not tell the truth. Okay, you want the truth. Cool. So the situation with getting to Europe. So everybody wants to go and play for PSG, Manchester United, Manchester City, Real Madrid Academy, Barcelona. Everybody wants to do that. Everybody. The truth is, especially after 12, we don't have the level. Our players don't have the same level, not even close, by the way, to even lower end professional academies. So, like, example, there's a kid I helped develop. His name is Nick. He is in Apoel FC Academy. He's an 07. He got there at 12 years old. He's now 15, going on, or maybe he's 14. 15, I think he's 15. And he's been there for 3 years. When he first went on trial at 12 years old, his parents were like, man, the speed is so much faster. You may or may not have heard of Apoel before. And if you haven't, they're a good club, but they're not a big club. They're not a Manchester City. They're not a Real Madrid, obviously. You've probably never heard of them. But they've been in the Champions League before. They're on an island outside of Greece called Cyprus. Good club. And they have a decent academy, good professional academy, free. Again, you don't pay anything for it. And the parent and the kid told me, like, the speed of play is way faster than what they have here. And at the time, this kid played DA, even a year up, and didn't have the speed of play at the same age group to go over. Now, he made the academy because he had the skill set, the work ethic, the mind, and all that. He had to catch up to the speed of play, and he did that with some time. But yeah, I mean, it's hard. So the point of that is, what's the moral of the story? Everybody wants to go play for PSG, Barcelona. Yeah. Okay. My recommendation is, parent, talk to your mom and your dad. I'm assuming you're a kid. Talk to your mom and your dad. Pick a country that is a good fit for you, because this is important, what I'm going to say. Every country has their own style of play, and this is something I didn't know until later. I made this mistake. I went to France as an adult, 22-year-old, trying to still be a pro. Got to semi-pro. Going to France was the wrong country for me. The game is more physical and technical than what I could deliver on. Technically, I was fine. It was the physicality that I didn't have. And you have to be super physical to play in certain countries. France is one. Or have some sort of athleticism. I have zero. I'm not big, I'm not fast, and I'm not overly strong. I'm small frame. I'm 5'9", by the way. 5'10", maybe. So you have to be very careful what country you move to. So on top of that, your parents need to pick a country, and you pick a country. Your parents have to get a job there, and then you move. That is the best route. And then once you're there, you then go find like a Division 3 or Division 4 club, work your way through. And the great thing about Europe is they have tiers. There's always somebody scouting. So you can easily go from a Division 4 to a Division 1. Great example. There's a guy I know. Check this out. Crazy story, actually. Kid went to Italy. played Division 4, got on the bench for one game. Division 4, one game in Italy. Okay? Came on for the final, 10 to 12 minutes. This kid scored 2 damn goals, bro. 2 goals in a Division 4 match. A scout was there watching, signed the next day, went Division 1. So now he's going to be playing. I don't know if he'll play. He'll be on a Serie A roster coming up in about the next 6 months. Maybe less. Maybe in 1 month. It depends how quickly they can get the paperwork and stuff done. He's going to be in the Serie A making at least $1 million, all because of one game in Division 4. Subbed on, 10 minutes, 2 goals. Everybody's like, oh, well, I got to go to PSG. I got to go to Real Madrid. I got to go to whatever. Bro, earn your stripes, man. Earn your stripes. There is no cheating when you go over there. What parents don't understand here, you can pay to have your kid on the best team. You can pay. I want to say that again. You can pay to have your kid on the best team. You can pay for that. Here, you can pay for that. You can pay to have your kid on MLS Next. Or ECNL. You can pay for that. You can't pay for in Europe. Maybe there's an exception to the rule. You can't pay for your son to be on PSG or Real Madrid or whatever. There may be a political game where you might know somebody that's your cousin, your brother, your whatever, that could get you through the door. That happens. But to pay for it, you can't do that. And I need to write that down because that's got to be one of my tweets. So I hope that answers your question, bro. I don't know if it does. But yeah, here, you can pay to be on a top team. In Europe, or to Julian's point in South America, you can't. And one of the greatest exporters of talent right now, and always really, Brazil, Argentina, tremendous exporter of talent. I mean, almost any South American country, to be honest, will have talent coming through, no problem. So, have you ever heard of a kid with great talent getting recruited to a high-level MLS Academy team and not live in that city, or do you have to move? Yeah, I have. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they will recruit anybody, for sure. There's a kid that I trained personally. I trained him for 2.5 years. And did not ever play for Orlando City Academy, never made it. But he got to FC Cincinnati, and he's been there for 3 years. He's going into the UPSL division now with them, which is actually funny. People say, don't play UPSL. And I should have said this earlier. I don't think you guys realize there's 12 or 13 MLS academies, 12 or 13 MLS academies, by the way, that have a UPSL team. Reference as well. Orlando City B, 2 years ago, maybe less, maybe a year and a half, used to participate in UPSL. And then, once they made MLS Next Pro, then the teams left. So what they did was, because they still found a lot of value from UPSL, they created another division, which is like a bridge between the OCB and the U17s. So let's call it U19, U20. Some clubs did this. And there's 13 of them, 12 or 13, I think it's 13, that have a MLS Academy participating in UPSL before MLS Next Pro, by the way. So I got in an argument with a guy, or not argument, discussion with a guy about why his kid should be playing UPSL, and the parent was like, oh, well, he's not going to get scouted for MLS. What are you talking about? Half the freaking MLS clubs have a UPSL team. Like, what? Do your research. So that's a lie. If you don't think your kid can get scouted to go play MLS Next with an MLS club from UPSL, you're full of shit. And you haven't done your research, because somebody go prove me wrong. I'm going to look it up. How many how many MLS Academy teams are in the UPSL? I get emails all the time because I have a UPSL team. And I should just look up the email. It'll tell me. It'll be a lot easier. Let's see. Here we go, right here. This is on the Wikipedia page, not the best format, but it'll help. I just need to read the part. I'm trying to find the part for you guys. I'm trying to find that part. Real Salt. Okay, yeah, here we go. This will help. I'll read them to you. I can find them, but it might take me a second, but I can try and find them. Okay, so this is for the Premier Division, by the way. This is the top division of UPSL. Not there. Hold on, it's a lot, man. I gotta try and find. Philadelphia Union is one. Philly Union is one. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, Inter Miami. Inter Miami Academy is here as well. Inter Miami CF Academy is in UPSL. Huh. Interesting. Inter Miami Academy. Oh, another one. Atlanta United Academy. I've just called out 3 right now. That there are 3 of them right now that I just found. I'll find more. I'm going to try to do this very quickly. Oh, there's another one. St. Louis City Soccer Club Academy. There's 4 that have a UPSL team. Shit. And you guys all say, oh, my kid can't play UPSL. He's going to get hurt. Oh, no. Bullshit, dude. Let's see. Where's another one? Real Salt Lake Academy. 5. I've now found 5 MLS Academy teams that have a UPSL team. And I'm quickly going through this trying to find somebody. There's a USL team, Sacramento United. I know it's not MLS. I will be posting this on live. Yes, I'll make it safe for sure. Let's see. Oh, here's 2 more. I hope you guys are ready for this. So this is going to be 7 and 8. 7 and 8. LAFC, and LA Galaxy Academy. Both of them. That's now 7 I found in UPSL. Oh, shit. That's too funny, man. That's 7. Oh, there's another one. Austin United. That's at least 8 are in UPSL. FC Dallas. That's 9. Shit. Houston Dynamo. That's 10. So, right now, there are at least 10 MLS academies that have a UPSL team. So, people telling me, oh, well, they shouldn't be playing UPSL. Bro, like, what? What? Like, just cut the bullshit, bro. Just say that you want to have your kid on MLS Next. It's okay. It's okay to be like, yeah, I want my kid on MLS Next. It's okay. Just, like, don't make excuses for it. Just own it. I'm just telling you, you need to think outside the box. Like, it's okay, bro. Like, it's okay. You guys can make whatever decision you want. Like, it's no problem. But, like, don't get confused, bro. Like, the best way, like, if that doesn't answer your question, man, like, what to do, like, okay, you can't get into MLS Next Academy. So, an official MLS Academy. Go play UPSL. Okay, so what's UPSL? UPSL, Ross, is a adult division. So it's an adult league. It's one of the biggest in the country. It has like 400 something teams. And I just use them as the example. I always tell people, once you get to 15, if you're not in an MLS Academy, go play adult, go play UPSL. You said non-MLS Academy and MLS Next. You've said non-MLS Academies and MLS Next are a waste of money. I think so, yes. But what about Sacramento Republic? Not MLS, but maybe not a cash cow. But what about Sacramento Republic? What is your question? Like I just told you, they have a UPSL team. So, like, I think that's great. 100%. Like, I think that's phenomenal that Sacramento Republic have a UPSL team, because that means there's potentially a pathway to get to their first team. They might have an academy. I don't know. I'm assuming they do, but I don't know for sure. It would make sense if they do. What would you tell players that are 18 to 21 trying to go pro? Where should they try and play USL, UPSL, etc.? Shit, man. If you're 18 years old, definitely UPSL. If you perform well in UPSL, you don't have a lot of time left, to be honest. Then you need to try and go to USL. But the only way you're going to get to USL, like USL 1 or USL Championship, would be as if you ball out, bro. Like, straight up. Ball out. If you ball out, you could make something happen. If you don't ball out, then like I think a lot of parents, especially like misunderstand this point. Like it doesn't matter what league your kid plays in ultimately. Like honestly, I appreciate the sub, Kale. Like it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't really like at the end of the day, bro. It doesn't matter what league your kid plays in, if they don't perform. Because like again, the conversation I was having with somebody, and they were like, "Oh, your kid needs to play MLS next," or you know. Okay, let's say that's the case. They need to pay to play MLS next. Okay, cool. Let's use that. If your kid is not a standout performer, bro, like you're not going anywhere. And that's what people don't understand. Like I don't think they understand and get that point. Like you have to perform to get somewhere. So then the other side is, okay, if you want to make an MLS academy and you're not performing at a high level, one, and two, you can't handle playing against grown men, then you, in my opinion, cannot play for an MLS. You cannot play for an MLS academy. Like you just don't have the level at 15, 17 years old. Like that's my personal opinion. You may not agree with that. That is perfectly fine. No problem, but that's just how I feel. And again, the proof is in the pudding. Like I'm telling you, like they have MLS, or sorry, they have UPSL teams, dude. Like what more information do you need? Honestly, that should be pretty straightforward. So anybody have any questions that I can answer? Like, do you want to jump on a live and have a conversation? I really enjoy doing that with you guys. I think it's fun, personally, for me. So if you have something you want to talk about on the live, like if you want to ask a question about your son, or we can talk about MLS, we can talk about UPSL, whatever you guys want to talk about. Like I like answering your questions and helping you. The only reason why I do this stuff is to help you guys. I get a lot of joy out of doing this. Like straight up, I do. Like I have fun. So if somebody has any questions that they'd like to have answered on the live, I'll invite you in and we can have a conversation. I enjoy it tremendously. And it's just, trying to help you guys make better decisions. So yeah, I mean, it's I don't know what else to tell you, but like at the end of the day, again, like I'm giving you the playbook. I do these lives. You guys have two choices. Because I'll put it to you this way. Nobody here on this live, correct me if I'm wrong, is paying me to be here. Right? So like, again, you're not paying me to be here. I'm not sitting here on YouTube Live or Instagram Live and somebody said, "Hey, Kyle, I'm going to pay you $500 to sit here." You're not. Nobody's paying me. I do this because I want to do this. I do this because I care to have you guys be educated and make better decisions. That's the only reason. I don't get paid for this. I won't get paid for this. I don't want the money, by the way, but like I'm just trying to give point. Like I do this because I genuinely care. I want you guys to have success. I want your kids to have success. If they really want to be a pro, that's why I put all this content out, bro. Like I put the playbook together. Like that like I wish I had that information when I was a kid. If I knew then what I knew now, my entire youth career would have been different. Like I only ever played 2 years up. And I think that was a huge mistake. I never played adults, bro. Not until I became an adult. There might have been once or twice, maybe once or twice. But like consistently, I never played adult, like ever. Hey, Kale, what's going on, brother? YouTube. Mine are 7 first year and 9 second year in a cash cow. Brian... Ay. Difficult, huh? I love cash cows. But no, like, listen. Bro, I can't lie to you guys, man. Like, I can't. I gotta tell you the truth. Like, you guys gotta understand, I own my own organization, right? I have my own one. I have an LLC. I have a nonprofit. My nonprofit does everything for free. Like, example, we're hosting this camp, right? And July 31st, August 1st, August 2nd. Already confirmed. Like our nonprofit is paying for that. Like we try to make soccer through our nonprofit. Not try, we will. Soccer through our nonprofit is 100% free. That is the goal of our nonprofit. Our for-profit, we charge. Can't lie, we charge. But I do stuff like this. I come on lives and I talk with you guys. I do free events for people, like all that kind of stuff. Like that's what we do to give back. Like we're doing this preseason camp 3 days, 100% free. You don't have to pay anything. And it's actually funny. I've had 4 or 5 people ask me, "Hey Kyle, we want to pay you for the camp." Nope, you're not paying. Oh, we want to donate. Nope, no donation. We don't want any money from you guys. You guys see what I'm saying? Like that's the deal, bro. Like we don't, for the nonprofit, we don't want nothing. All right, so let's look at this. What age should players look to play up? Every age. Any age and every age is possible. Is it wise to start working on mental attitude of a 7-year-old and how, or is it too early? No, I mean, bro, Alexander, every minute of every day should be a way to work on mental. Because if your son says, I want to be a pro, your daughter says, I want to be a pro, if you're not working with them already to develop that mindset, dude, it's not easy, bro. They're not going to have the level at the end of the day mentally to get there. Okay. How about you notice favoritism for players that pay the coaches on the side, especially when it comes to tryouts? I mean, I'm sure it exists, but what is your question? Like, how can I answer a question for you? Like, I don't know how to answer that. I'm sure it exists. What about teams? What age group would you recommend them to play up or at what level? Humble. What about teams? What age would you recommend them to play up? Again, for me, it all comes down to level. If the kids have the level, they can go play up. If they don't have the level, they can't play up. It just comes down to that. And then once they have the level, do they have the mental capacity to handle playing against older players? Like, that's why I say at 15 years old, kids should play against adults. Because if they have the mental capacity at 15 years old to play with adults, they have the potential shortly in the future to maybe play for an MLS Academy 1. 2, they can go play college, no problem, because UPSL is like college. Honestly, very similar. And then 3, they might have the level to go be a pro. It just depends, because to be a pro, you have to play against grown men. Holbird, how are you paying your bills if you aren't getting paid for anything? So, never said I wasn't getting paid for anything. I have ways to make my money. I do make money through football. And I've always said that, especially with the model that we have, pay to play isn't the problem. The problem is you're paying for a service in most situations and you're not getting value back. So, like, okay, with my club, High Soccer, I tell everybody, if you come to us, the one thing I will promise you, your child will get better. That's the only thing I promise. So that's my value delivery to you, is that your child will come to my program. They will get better. That is it. I don't promise you exposure, networking, blah, 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 whatever else all these people are promising you. I don't promise that. I just promise your kid will get better. So hopefully that answers your question. So if I have a 2010 team, I should have them playing 09s. I mean, listen, Humble, it depends. Do they have the level? I don't know if they have the level. I can't answer that. I can tell you what I've done. Like, my 07s, we started in 07 for 3 years. Then we went into 06. Then we did some events at 05 and 04, so it was a dual age. And then we just went into UPSL this past spring. And that was the best decision we've ever made, putting those kids into UPSL, straight up. Best decision. Like, one of them, to tell you this, is we got to play my 07s, my 2007, so they're 15, 16 years old. There's 206s, 205s, and there was one adult. We played against the St. Kitts men's national team, senior national team, by the way, the same team the USA just played in the Gold Cup. We played against them a little more than a month ago. I have the video. I can show it to you guys. It was unbelievable. Like, it was an amazing experience. The only way we got that game, or the only reason we got that game, was because we were playing against grown men. That was it. My 15 and 16-year-old playing against grown men. And we had one adult. Sorry, kids that are paying for training on the side get picked over kids that have the level. I mean, I'm sure that's the case. I mean, it's a political game, bro. Like, everything in life is political, unfortunately. That's why I say networking is so important. If you don't have the network, you're not getting to the next level. So, yeah, I mean, it's a huge miss, bro. Like, if you don't do that, then it's impossible. All right. What are your thoughts on Mbappe's new offer? How does it positively or negatively impact? So Mbappe's new offer. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I probably wouldn't do this if I was an Mbappe, but if I was somebody else, like a Ruben Neves, well, okay, let's say if I'm Mbappe, because PSG is not going to let him play, so you got to think from that perspective, right? At least that's what they're saying. So if I'm Mbappe, if I can sign a 1-year deal to go there, and then I can leave the following year, are you kidding? Why would you not take that? Like, that would just be stupid. Like, for example, Ruben Neves got offered, like, what is it, like $30 million a year? If you're not an elite, like, elite of elite, and I mean, like, guys that are winning trophies on a consistent basis, like a Man City or a Liverpool or even a Man United or maybe an Arsenal, like, if you're not at that level, then if I was the player person, this is me, and you guys might give me hate for this, I'm just going to tell you what I would do. I would take the money, bro. Like, Ruben Neves, I think, made a genius decision. He's always been on that cusp of, like, going to a big club, but nobody's ever bought him. Like, why would you not go? Like, what? That's just silly. Like, why would you not go? It's you're paying for your family for the rest of their life. Like, why would you not do that? Does high level soccer also help develop mentally? Well, yeah. I mean, of course, you have to be able to handle the pressure of it. So yes, for sure. How to help a kid with ability, skill, but lack of confidence? Well, obviously that's mental, right? So if you haven't yet, I would download my Pro Mindset course. You can get the link in my bio, 100% free. That will help him develop that mindset. That's what I would do. In the playbook, you mention a Croatian Football Association curriculum that you read 4 times and you highly recommend it. Can you share it, or how do you obtain it? Sure, Alexander. 2 things. One, you can go to Amazon, type in the Croatian Football Federation Development Curriculum. It should be on Amazon. I've heard it's sold out, but it's there. You can also try on Google, and you can search on Google. And you should be able to find it somewhere too. Like I've heard I've helped blow his thing up like tremendously, and I don't get $1 from it. Just for reference. I keep saying that, but I don't get $1 from it. Exactly. $1 billion for 1 year, and I'm gone for 1 year. I mean, even if you offered me 2 years, bro, are you kidding? Like, what? 2 years? And you're gonna pay me X amount of money? What? What? They're gonna pay him, like, the rumor is what, 700 million? Something stupid like that? Are you kidding me? Like, again, I'm not Mbappe. Like, it's hard, right? Here's the thing. It's easy for, and I love this part, I need to write this down. It's easy for you or me to sit here and say, well, this is what I would do. But until you're actually in the situation being Mbappe, we don't know what you're going to do until you're actually in it. So let me write that down. Hypothetical. Because this will be another tweet. It's easy. Mbappe. And it's crazy because, like, again, like, if you're Mbappe, like, why would you not take the money? Well, you might want to be like, well, I want to save my career and I want to do whatever. Okay, cool. But, like, they're going to offer you $700 million for a year, even 2 years. They're going to pay you $700 million 2 years. So that would be I'm going to try to do the math. That's $1.4 billion. What? Dude, come on. I mean, I understand he's probably one of the top 5, if not top player in the world. But you're going to be paid that much money, and PSG is going to put you out because they don't want you to leave for free? Are you kidding, bro? Like, why would you not take that? Anyways, so that's besides the point. Appreciate everything you were doing, bro. Your podcasts are great. I appreciate that, man. I'm just, again, like, what people don't understand is I've been in your shoes. That's why, like, I started making all this content for free, because there's just, like, I don't get anything out of it, man. Like, it's just to help you guys, bro. Like, I want the next generation to make better decisions. I want to work with the next generation of players that want to come through. Like, that's what I want to do. So that's why I produce all this stuff and try and help, because there's just no other value or point for me to do it. Like, what else am I going to get from this other than doing that? So, I mean, that's it at the end of the day, bro. But we've been on this live for 80 minutes. Anybody else have any other thoughts, questions, concerns that I can answer? I still have to do more recording stuff. I need to take a small break. But if anybody has any final questions or whatever, considerations, I'm more than happy to chat about it, answer them, and have that conversation, bro. Like, it's that simple. Again, which football academies in Europe would you recommend and why? I mean, Alexander, it's a very open-ended question. Do you? I don't even know how to answer that for you. Like, you need to go to a country like Italy, Spain, Germany, France, England. Go ahead, Tita. You can ask your question, and you can go ahead and, how do I phrase this? Almost any club, I can't promise you all of them, but almost any club will try and do the right thing because their academy will survive because of player development. Like, the club's not necessarily going to make money on the academy, like a lot of money, but the club will make money on the academy, and they need the money because of their development, because of compensation formation to survive. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's no other workaround. So, like, again, the recommendation I make, because somebody asked a question earlier, what should I do? If I was in your shoes, I would just pick in a country. I would go to Italy. Right? I have ties in Italy, so I can make that happen personally. But anyways, go to Italy. Get to a Division 3 or 4 club as a kid. Work your way up because they have scouts coming to almost not every game, but a lot of games. And if you're performing, you can get in to a Division 2 or Division 3. Like, I gave the example of a guy in Italy I know. Literally played one match Division 4, scored 2 goals in 10 minutes after being subbed on, and now he's getting a Serie A contract. I can't announce which club or anything like that, but getting a Serie A contract, he's going to be making roughly $1 million a year. With these clubs being businesses, how do you feel about marketing your player like a product and building their brand, networking, and marketing? Yeah, I mean, Tita, I think I've answered this, bro, to be honest. And I've said this, like, I think, personally, like, within the next 5 years, the whole system is either going to collapse or there's going to be a change because parents are going to make a change, right? And that change would be, I think, homeschool or, like, virtual school is going to be the main option. I honestly do it. I think this is going to happen. Public school is already outdated completely. So I think people are going to do a different option, and that's just simply because kids are in school way too long. And for sure, there's going to be a shift to individual development because, and I've said this before, only the player with the most skill and the best network is going to get identified to go to the next level. So individual development is key, 100% key, and I've talked about this for years, actually. Like, example, I've talked about this before. I trained a group of 6 kids at 6:30 in the morning, 4 days a week for 2.5 years, 6:30 to 8. 5 out of the 6 moved on to go to the next level. 1 went into college, 3 went to MLS academies, 1 went to an international academy in Apple LFC, and then 1 just stopped playing soccer, and he's like I think he does skateboarding now, but anyways, that's besides the point. But like, that was all individual development. All I did was technique. So I did game-based application technique, and then we did small-sided games on top of that. So 1v1s, 2v1s, 2v2s, 3v2s, 3v3s, and that's all we did for 2.5 years. That was literally it. So yeah, I think for sure you have to start marketing that. Absolutely. Hi, how are you? Where are you from? Where am I from or where do I live? 2 different questions. I'm from DMV, so that would be Northern Virginia. And then I live in Orlando, Florida. That's where I am from, and that's where I live. Hopefully that helps answer your question, man. God. Oh my God, ODP. How old were they? So this was a couple years ago. So I'll answer your question first, Sida. When I started, they were 9 and 10 years old. One kid was 12. He was in 05, so he might have been 11. The other ones were 07 and 06. And so we did this from 9, like the one kid that went to Cyprus and plays for Apoel, he was 9 and he was with me until 12, so 2.5 years. The other one would have been, I guess, 10 to 13, give or take. And the other one, 10 to 13. The other one was, like I said, 11 or 12. So he was, let's just say 12. So he was with me until, 15. And Yes. So does that make sense? Does that answer your question? I mean, I have a video I can show you as an example. Your team that just played the St. Kitts national team, were they UPSL? Yes, we were UPSL, correct. We were in UPSL, we played UPSL, and we got the game against the St. Kitts national team because they were looking for a team that was a good level, but not top level like pro, and they wanted somebody to come in and work with and play against. So that's what we did. So they called me. They said, "Hey, we heard you have a UPSL team." I had a mutual connection. This is why networking is so important, guys. Like, I had a mutual connection that was able to get me access to play against the St. Kitts men's national team. And in fact, we almost got another game against St. Lucia and Granada. Didn't happen, unfortunately, but we were very close to getting another game. I wish I did, but I was very happy we got one game. That was huge. Like, me as a player, I've never got that. I didn't get that as a kid to play against the St. Kitts men's national team. Like, for reference, they had 3 guys that were on Premier League, or I should say formerly on Premier League rosters. They didn't play any minutes, but they were on rosters of Premier League teams. They had 5 guys on championship rosters. They had a bunch of guys on League One and League Two in England. They're all English players. And our kids got to play that. Like, that's nothing that MLS Next, Pay to Play, or ECNL can replicate. You can't. Like, that's not even, like, the experience that we got from that was unbelievable, bro. Like, and people don't, like, how do I explain that? Like, people don't get it. Like, just don't understand it. Like, that was just awesome, to be honest. How do you feel about creating select teams and productive training groups instead of commitment to clubs before 13 years old? Tita, have you read my playbook? I think that would answer your question primarily. But basically in the playbook, I say something very, very similar. There is some point you probably have to join competitive. The UPSL team was High Soccer. Yeah, it's called High Soccer Prospects. If you want the video, I can send it to you. I have it. So just shoot me a DM if you want to watch it. We actually, interestingly enough, we had a broadcast and a commentary. So High Soccer versus the St. Kitts national team, which was crazy. So we had High Soccer versus St. Kitts men's national team. We had a live stream. We just didn't post it. And then we also had a commentator, which was phenomenal. It was really cool. So yeah, it was an awesome experience, man. Like, completely awesome. So yeah, read it. You can also listen to it, bro. I have it on my podcast. You can listen to it. It's an hour and a half, give or take. You can read the tweets directly from my Instagram. All you have to do is go to my page. So go to my profile, go to the highlights, and they're right there, and you can just read the tweets. In Westchester County, so many club teams are fighting each other for players, and none of them can fill up a roster. All of them are moving younger players up. I get it. Oh, sorry, I forgot about your ODP question. I'm sorry, bro. I'll answer it. ODP. Bass, how honest do you want me to be about ODP? I'll be more than happy to give you my opinion about ODP if you want the honest truth. Tina, no worries, bro. All good, no problem. If you need something else, let me know. Send me a DM and we can make it happen. Honest. Okay, so ODP has been around since I was a kid, probably before since I was a kid. It used to be the pathway to the U.S. Youth National Team. And it's no longer that. Let me write this down because it's another note I want to talk about as well. ODP. Okay, so it used to be the pathway to the U.S. Youth National Team. I played every level but that. It was called the state pool, district, state, and regional. I did all 3 levels. Was close a couple of times to the national team pool. And then DA came out. And DA became the new thing to what MLS Next is now. So for ODP to stay relevant, they had to switch it to a platform that they now, and you can look this up on their website, or not even their website, their Instagram, which is fudgy nuts, by the way. I'm not going to say the F-bomb, I was about to. They have, how do I explain this to you? ODP national teams now. They have the ODP national team. If that's not a cash cow to you, and you can go on their Instagram page, just look up ODP and you're going to see it. They were at the Dallas Cup. They were at the Dallas Cup, and it says ODP national team. What? What? ODP national team, one. And then two, why is the national team of ODP playing in the Dallas Cup? National teams don't play Dallas Cup. So let's put it this way: if you're looking for your kid to go to the next level through ODP, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's a money grab. If you're looking for it as an experience, like you gotta relate everything back to basics, right? If you want to provide your child an experience, to meet people he doesn't know, to play with people he doesn't know, to be under a coach he doesn't know, fine, use it. Like half the stuff you're going to be doing anyways. Like, okay, let me put it to you this way, and I've said this before: anything you do before 15 years old, if your child is not a generational talent, is just experience. It's learning moments. As long as you use it like that, ODP is great. You can use it as a moment to develop that, if that makes sense. Do you understand what I'm saying? Once your kid gets to 15 years old, then it's time to start ramping up. And that's when you need the exposure and being exposed and all that kind of stuff, if that makes sense to you. So it's just doing that, bro. Like, to be honest, like there's no other workaround. I wish there was, but that's it. The whole thing is experience play. Does that answer your question, bro? I hope it does. I hope I answered your question. I got a couple of notes that I wrote down. It's good. I always get some good stuff when I do lives with you guys. But yeah, so that's the deal, bro. I hope that answers your question about ODP. Anything else from anybody else I can answer? Real quick before I jump off. I have an 09 girl that's really good, trains by herself. North Texas soccer is full of high dollar clubs I can't afford. Bass, send me a DM. I got one guy. I don't know if he's anywhere near your area. I can send you his stuff. He's a friend of mine. He has a club. I don't know if he's anywhere near you. I don't know if he's in North Texas, South Texas, Central Texas. I don't know. I don't know if it's locally or not, but at least I can maybe build a connection for you, if that helps. So send me a DM and I'll shoot you his stuff. I hope that helps. Because yeah, bro, this whole game is networking. And like, I need to write that down too. That's really good. If your child is really, really good, like I think for a lot of people this will help. All right, so I think this will help give reference, right? And this is what I tell people now. If your kid is actually really, really good, like your son or daughter is really, really good, the cash cows will come to you and say, hey, Bass, I don't know what your name is, man, I'm sorry. We're going to sponsor your daughter. You don't have to pay for anything. No uniform. No training fees, no tournament fees, sponsored, 100%. That means they think your daughter or son, I know in your situation it's a daughter, but that means they truly think your daughter's very good. Very good. Does that make sense? I hope it helps. Because like I think a lot of people get confused. Like to be honest, bro. Like to be completely honest with you guys, ever since I started posting this content, I've probably received, ballparking this, 10,000 DMs. Okay, does that make sense? I probably received 10,000 DMs. Half the time, somebody sends me a message and they're like, "Oh, my son's a beast, and my son's this, my son's that," and I'm like, "Dude, that's cool. Your son might be really good in your mind, but more than likely he's not really good, and that's okay." I don't tell him that, but it's just funny. Like literally, somebody will send me a message, "Hey, what do you recommend for my son? He's really good. What do you think?" Or "My daughter's really good. What do you think?" And I always tell them, like, look, if your kid is really, really good, like I've seen this happen 14 or so times, the cash cow will come to you as a parent. Like let's say you bring your kid to a tryout. If your kid is really, really, really good, the cash cow will come to you at some point, maybe not at the event. It could be at the event, but after, at some point. "Hey, we want your son 100% free, or your daughter. You don't have to pay a dime for anything." That means they believe your child is very good. Very good. So You see what I'm saying? Like, I hope that makes sense, Bass. So I need to send my kid overseas to train basically and see if he can cut it. I mean, the decision is yours. If I could and I had a son, I would do it. I would 100%. Like, okay, look at Christian Pulisic, right? His dad took him on a bunch of trips. I think he trained with Barca, he trained with Chelsea, he trained in Germany a couple of times. And eventually at, 13? Got his ass out, took him to Germany full time, lived there ever since. And shortly after, got a professional contract a couple years later. He knew that if he didn't take his kid out of the system, he wasn't going to make it. So he pulled his kid out of the system. Like, it's that simple, man. When's the next time I'm going to go live? The next time I'm going to go live will probably be tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday, so it's entirely possible I will do tomorrow. I can't promise you, but I should try and set up like a consistent time. I'll do it at any point, really, but I like to do it when I know people will be able to make it. I know a lot of you guys have, full-time jobs or you work 9 to 5 or whatever. So I try and do it in the evening so that way you guys can be on it. But soon I'm going to be starting practice again, which means I won't be able to do it. So we'll see how it happens. My friend is going to college and he asked how he can be a top college soccer player. How do you be a top college soccer player? You be the best player in the field. There's no other way around it. What's the live topic tomorrow? What do you want to talk about, Sequoia? What would you want me to discuss? We can start with that. I make topics usually a couple hours before, to be honest. So if there's something worthwhile, I can talk about it. I mean, again, like, it's actually funny, the number of times I've had to reuse the same stuff. Like, for example, I've been asked this ODP question probably 20 times. So in all the lives that I've done, pretty much every single time on live, like, somebody's asked me about ODP or MLS Next, and I answer the question. So there's some rhetoric to it, right? It's repeated. But yeah, I mean, it's not a problem for me, bro. I can do it. Alexander, that's awesome. What part of the UK? I'm glad you're getting value of listening to somebody from the US talk. That's awesome. I appreciate it. So that's cool. I'm a Manchester United supporter. What do you think is key to becoming a better player? I mean, you're talking about a guy in college. So a guy in college, if he's not a standout, bro, it's that simple. So it's mindset at that point. I don't know the level of your player, your friend, but he needs to be a standout. He needs to be the best player in the field. Otherwise, he's not going anywhere. Ooh, Bristol Rovers. Love Bristol. Bristol. Hey, Kyle, do you ever mention clubs by name when in discussion about anything live? I don't like putting club names out there. At least at this moment, I may at some point, but I mean, like, I'm gonna write this down too. So thanks for bringing that up because this will help people. I should make like a cash cow checklist. Would that help if I put together like a cash cow checklist? I'm not gonna put a club name, but I'll give you what a cash cow does. Cash cow check list. Another thing. Have you ever touched on NIL adding to a player's worth when looking to get them college scholarships? I haven't, bro. Like, I should do more research on it since our last conversation, or maybe we'll have to touch base on it again. I haven't talked about the NIL since our last conversation, to be honest. So, but yeah, I mean, I should do some more research on it. Absolutely, amigo. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Anybody else have any final thoughts? I gotta get off, man. Get my brain to decompress. I've been staring at these screens for almost 100 minutes, which is crazy. So it's an hour and 40 minutes I've been staring at the screen. So any other final questions before I jump off real quick? I gotta go and do some stuff. Yes, sir. Pick me for your camp. Julian, send me a DM. We already have our list. I just haven't made the announcement yet. I can check if you're on it. So if you want to be in it, shoot me a DM and I'll check to see if you're on. I'll jump on your next live because I have some stuff on it. Done, bro. Yeah, let's do that. We can plan on it probably tomorrow, bro. That'd be a good idea. So done, guys. I'm going to pretty much wrap it up there. There's 100 minutes of content here. Shit. And I need to do one specifically for college because so many people... Like, almost every parent I talk to wants their kid to go to college and play college soccer and get a scholarship. Like, I don't think people really understand, because I didn't, the actual recruiting process, what it takes, what you need, and all those steps with it. So, but we'll get to that later. Anyways, guys, you guys have a good night. I'll see you probably tomorrow. I'll probably do a live tomorrow again. I like doing this. It's fun. And I'm here to help, guys. So my son is a fan of your content. He watches as well. How can I introduce him to you as a fan? Well, why don't you bring him? Why don't you register for the free camp, Arthur? And then we can meet there. I think that would be great. In fact, I think one of your teammates came to our free camp last time. My son is 9th grade, and I need help where to start. Okay, Val, how can I help? Real quick, I'll try and answer your question. So, do you want to have a face-to-face conversation that would make it easier and quicker, to be honest, than me trying to answer your message through text? And start with what? What are you trying to start with? Appreciate your live, mate. Looking forward to the next one. Yeah, so Alexander, let's say the next one tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Probably 8 or 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, maybe earlier. I'll let you know, or just shoot me a DM, bro. I can tell you. I don't know for sure exactly when, how, why, when, because I might have some training I have to do tomorrow evening. So if I do, that means it'd either be later, or if I don't, I can, or even if I do, I can do it early, like 5:30. But let's see. So Val, how can I help? I'll try and quickly answer your question. How can I help, Val? What is your question? But yeah, so I don't know if you're talking about training. I don't know if you're talking about college recruiting. I don't know what you're talking about. I can try and help you very quickly. Hey, Val.
Hey.
How are you?
Question.
Answer, hopefully.
So my son is starting high school this year.
Mm-hmm.
He plays soccer. That's his thing. What's like what suggestions or like what can you help us to like starting like what does she need to start doing for like recruiting? Like, is there an account that I need to open for him? Like, what should I start doing? Like, what's the best way to get him seen out there?
Good question. So you said he's 9th grade, boy or girl?
He's a boy.
Okay, boy. So 9th grade boy. Okay. So have you downloaded my college recruiting masterclass yet?
No.
Okay. So
I started following you not too long ago.
Okay.
So I started seeing your videos. I started sending them to him.
Cool.
And so like I'm new to it. So I'm just like
Gotcha. Yeah, no problem. So I don't know if you know this. I used to charge a good amount of money for this. All of my online content is now 100% free. And if you go to my bio link on Instagram, so you go to my profile, you go to my bio link, I have, I think 10 courses now. I added one more that you can get 100% free. I have 2 college recruiting ones. I have one that's like kind of like an entry level. It's 45 minutes. That's like kind of like a general overview. And then I have another one that literally, and it's perfect because your kid's going into high school now, walks you through what he needs to do the minute he walks into high school to finish up his senior year. So everything. I give you templates, phone templates, email templates, a whole bunch of stuff. And I literally say, hey, these are all the things you need to do every single year. So you need to knock out, for example, these 10 things your freshman year, these 12 things your sophomore year, these 15 things your junior year, and these 15 or whatever number it is your senior year. And I walk you through all the stuff. So I tell you how to do an email. I tell you how to send letters, how to email, how to do video, how to do all that stuff.
Okay.
And it's all 100% free. You don't have to pay a dime for it.
Okay, so I can just go on your bio and follow all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Online, it's called, I believe, the College Recruiting Journey, or like Dominating the College Recruiting Journey, something like that. If you can't find it, let me know. I can have somebody on my team or myself help you get it. But that will.
I've been taking them to like tournaments where they have like college recruiting there and doing stuff like that.
Yeah, that's good. So let me, since you asked the question, I'll try and quickly give you some key pointers, right? So first thing, the average college is receiving probably 70 to 80 emails a day. Okay. So emails should not be especially the first way of contact, because they're going to just hit delete. Like I have plenty of friends that coach college and like, dude, I get so many emails, I just hit delete. Okay. Secondly is college events like that are good. Like tournaments are good. But if your son is not a standout, which means he's not the best player on the field,
Okay.
he's not going to get looked at. So, like, if I'll phrase it to you a different way. If you're using let's say you didn't get access to my course, you had no idea what you were doing, because I was in the same boat, by the way.
Yeah.
You're not, like, let's say your son, just as an example, says, hey, Mom, I want to go to UCF. That's down the street from me. It's very close. He's not going to UCF because he's not a standout. UCF is going to look at probably 20,000 kids.
Yeah.
And they already have their list of recruits that they're already recruiting. So when they go to a tournament, whatever school it is, it doesn't matter what school it is, most schools are already going there because they're looking at 1 to 20 kids, as an example.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if your son hasn't been in contact with them, they're not looking at him. They might be at your game or his game,
Yeah.
but unless he like absolutely does something where like, oh my God, who is this kid? They're not going to be recruiting him. So I'll give you one more example with that. There was a kid that I had. He's 20 now. He played for Orlando City B, which was the second team of Orlando City. He played in one game against Stetson University, and there was a coach there recruiting a goalkeeper. But he did so well that the coach was like, who is this kid? Let me go talk to him.
Up with that goalkeeper.
So he wasn't a goalie. He was a number 9. He was a striker. So the kid that ended up getting recruited, he's now going Division I because the guy came looking for a goalie, but he saw this kid who was a number 9, a striker, and he said, holy shit, who is this kid? Let me go talk to him. Boom. He got a half scholarship on the spot right there.
Okay.
But he was that good. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you have to be really good to have something like that happen to you.
Okay.
Otherwise, the kid has to do all the back end work, is what I built out for them in that course.
Yeah. We're working on that. Like, I've taken him to some places, like, because now he's at soccer practice now.
Yeah.
He plays for FC Dallas, but we're working on that, and so we've taken him to some places. Like, I don't know if you've heard of them, Sueño Alancia. And it's a organization, but it's like hard to get seen because like he's a defender, and if the ball doesn't get to you, it's like, how do you get seen when it doesn't go to you, you know?
Sure.
But yeah, I'm gonna look into your stuff, and I like your contact. I've been looking at all your videos, and they're so helpful.
Cool.
And I seen another kid post something about your camp. What camp do you offer?
Good question. So we decided to do something a little bit different for anybody in the United States. We did one already. We're running a second one. It's 100% free. You don't pay anything. Even if you ask, we're not going to accept any money. And it's July 31st, August 1st, and August 2nd. So it's 3 days. All you have to do is apply to it. And then if you could help spread the word, it'd be great. We already committed to doing it, so we're going to do it. So it's in my bio link. If you go to my bio link, you'll see a thing. I think it says like 100% free camp. So again, you don't pay anything. I don't know where you live, but you just have to apply, and you just figure out how to get here, and then you just come and train, or your son comes and trains.
Okay. So where is this going to be located?
Orlando, Florida.
Orlando, okay. Well, we're from Texas,
Cool.
And he will be in the Tampa Cup here in a few weeks.
Cool.
But I would wish to take him.
Yeah.
It would be good.
Yeah, no problem.
But maybe next time.
Sure, no problem.
What we can get out.
Done. In fact, we've actually had 3 people reach out to us from different parts of the country because they're like, hey, we want to connect with you to work on something. So one of the goals we have is trying to get this free training into other parts of the country. So that's what we're looking to see if we can do.
Okay.
So maybe Texas is one of them. I guess we're going to find out.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And I'm going to look into all this, and great information.
Yeah, no problem at all. And anything we can do to help, let me know. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
All right, guys, with that, I'm out. I've been on this call for 110 minutes. I need to get off and give my brain a reset for a little bit and do some other stuff. So I'll see you guys later. Have a good day. I'll probably do a live tomorrow. You guys know I love doing this. So enjoy and see you later. Ciao.